WDRB Media. We thank Off the Bench Global. We're back with you guys. We have a great panel of celebrities. I'm gonna say celebrities. Can I say celebrities today?
Absolutely.
Yes. I'm Curtis Taylor.
David B.
Tyrell Coach Anderson.
Alan Oliva Chapella.
Come on.
Candace Miles.
And Jorge Diaz.
Yes, we have a great panel today. We want to continue to talk about how Black Lives Matter. With that being said, I don't want to take up a lot of time to actually introducing these guys. These guys can actually introduce themselves, and especially being impacting the community. I stand with you guys 100% because when I'm out there, they are out there. They call me out, you know. So I appreciate everything that you're doing when it comes to the community. And we're going to start right here with Alan. Alan, what's going on, brother?
Hey, Curtis, how's it going, my friend?
I can't complain. So Alan's been in the community with the Black Lives Movement. You look at Channel 9 News, you see Alan face. I'm like, is this Alan's show? Yeah. So what's been going on in the community, man, with these marches?
A lot, man. As you've seen, it's quite a movement. It's picked up quite a bit of speed recently because of obviously negative connotations and deaths and police brutality and all kinds of issues. You know, we met back in the International Minority Coalition over 2-3 years ago when Willie Fleming wanted to found a group that would bring minorities together to go from minority to majority. That's actually when me and Curtis met 2 or 3 years ago, and we talked about doing this, and here it is coming to fruition.
Yes, and that's the beautiful part about it, and you guys stay tuned because even right beside me, Jorge and I, we talked about maybe a year and a half ago, we talked about how Off the Bench Global will have that different dynamic when it comes to views, when it comes to the Spanish community. Not just the Spanish community, but we're global. So we're not just going to be, I guess the word prejudice when it comes to communicating. We are one. You know, so we really want to have this time and opportunity for Jorge to introduce yourself. And Jorge is the quiet one, guys. Believe it or not, he's the quiet one.
All right.
Hello everybody. My name is Jorge Diaz, and I am originally from the Dominican Republic. I currently work in the property management industry, but right now just want to get myself more involved in the community. The reason why I decided to join, just the movement in general, as a light skin myself, I guess I get to take advantage of some privilege, light skin privilege, but knowing there is other people that, that are within my family that don't get to enjoy those privileges.
That's right.
I can't just stand, silence is accomplice. Right. So, my goal is to make sure that, I'm having the tough conversations with not just friends, but even family as well, my mother, and, where we just are completely separated in ideology, and sometimes it's bridging that gap, as we were talking about.
Right.
And one of the main reasons why I even joined the International Minority Coalition as well was because I was looking for a way how to bridge that gap between different minorities where we're constantly being oppressed, and the systemic structure is just being put against us, and instead we can become the minority majority that we have the potential to be. So that's why I'm here and I'm having this conversation. So thank you.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. And last but not least, we have Candace. Candace is she have a different spectrum, when it comes to here locally and also internationally. Candace, she have traveled and she's done things. She's been in the community. She's been in the marches. But me being a father and a male, when I see her on the news, I'm like, is she okay? But I really appreciate everything you're doing in the community. Tell the world about what you experienced during this whole Black Lives Matter movement.
So in 2016, I was kind of fed up with the shootings that were happening. Me applying to go to school in France, it was honestly something where I fasted for 20 days and I said to myself, what would you do if you could not fail? I wanted to be able to look at things from different perspectives when it comes to having an argument, especially when it came to quote unquote like terrorists. So looking at the country from 2016 and then looking at it now, in 2016, when I asked one of my professors if I wanted to write a paper about the Ku Klux Klan being classified as a terrorist organization, and he thought that it was absurd. And so
We got a petition for that, sign, mijente.net.
at the time, you know, when it came to looking at like what would happen, or what would it take for African Americans to stand up and to rise up and to start taking back their power. After 2016, I left. I went to Paris, France. It wasn't my first time being out of the country for a long period of time. In terms of like being black, I've always been very pro-black, but being in Germany is the first time where I actually felt human. Like I had human rights. I was in a class one time, and my professor asked me where I was from, and I said the United States. And he said, "So what are you?" I said, "I'm black." He said, "But where are you from?" I said, "I don't know. My people came over here on slave ships." and everyone got quiet, and my one of my other black friends, she's from Zimbabwe, but she had moved to Australia. She pulled me aside after class, and I was like, "Well, did I say something wrong?" She was like, "No, it was just weird." And I was just like, yeah. It is. It's kind of weird. In terms of France and racism, they have something where it's kind of like covert. I actually debated in my head whether or not I liked American racism versus French racism more. I said at least they give you sweet tea and you know that they're racist at the beginning, versus in France, you know, in terms of like classifying yourself like as your color or like identity, they don't really do that. But in terms of for example, police profiling, it's like they have this big issue with terrorism, but when you look on the street and the people that they're stopping, they're people that look just like me.
That's right.
And it was something that one of my friends, we sat and we filmed, and they were all dark-skinned Africans. In terms of the thing that kind of just interested me a little bit is that for black people or people of African descent who lived in France, they were still French nationalists first, but they identified as being black. But when it came to, it was not like they're black French.
Right.
They are French, and so that's something that was interesting to me.
Right. Well, thank you for that, Candace. And it leads me to partly on why we're here. Particularly, I wanted to address to Alan and Jorge. First off, Jorge, thank you for keeping the name Jorge and not George. I'll just say I would have been pissed about that. But anyway, but to the both of you, and as Candace eloquently put, I have always felt that there's a need for races to form an alliance in some way. And there is in this country, no other race that is more in line with the plight of black people, in my estimation, is the Latino community.
That's right.
Latino community. There has been not let me say a divide, but it's an undertone that we don't champion for one another. So I wanted to give, first off, thank you obviously for doing this, but I want to get both of y'all's perspective on how important, how passionate you are, and really wanting to get this message out that we're all in the same boat.
Definitely, Coach. I'm a community organizer, so it is literally my full-time job to protest, to organize, to bring people together, to fight against systemic repression, voter suppression, education, limitations, everything that we've been talking about here. Honestly, I would recommend a podcast that I've been listening to called Latina to Latina. It's by Rosa Clemente and Marisa Franco. Marisa Franco is the founder of Mi Gente, and they're talking exactly about that, about why Latinos are part of this fight in the first place.
Right.
At the end of the day, the same the same police officers that are killing black people are funded, or similarly, where ICE is funded, that's deporting us. So it's part of the same problem. The private industrial complex that is jailing and killing our people, it's the same exact thing. So it's exactly the same problem. We as Latinos are more than 5% Afro-Latinos.
Right.
So of course, we are part of this family. We're all human beings at the end of the day. And honestly, one quote that stood out to me just huge that they said is, salvation comes through assimilation. it seems to be this preconditioning that we have that is the issue exactly. That we need to be white to be successful. Almost.
Right.
We almost look up to white people as if I don't do it like they did it, then I'm not worthy.
The nature of competition.
That's part of what we need to relearn ourselves, so that we're proud to be brown, black, Dominican, Mexican, French, whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, we're all human beings and we're in this fight together. And when you get hurt, I get hurt, and we all lose.
Right. And it's definitely a we thing when it comes to global. That's why we're off the bench global, because the nature of competition, it tries to push one up, more than the other. But we should be on the same playing field. We just want to get better, not just for ourselves, but our children, So.
Absolutely. Jorge, take that one. You have a child.
Oh, yeah.
I don't yet.
I want to go ahead and kind of like make a point, a reference to a point that you made earlier. When I was a young boy in school, my mother is white, hence the reason why I'm, caramel. Right. And I went up to my mother and I said, "Mom, how can I be white?" And she was puzzled by me asking the question, and she asked me why. And she's like, well, because all of the white kids are getting all of the attention from all of the girls that I want to talk to, And then she just educated me on melanin and how it keeps us young. So I was just like, okay, well, I'm going to be 50, but looking like 38. So it's straight. Wow, some other people are 25 and looking like they're 40. So, it's even a matter of embracing. When I came here, I tried to assimilate. And I asked people to call me George just because I know there's some people who are struggling to roll their R's, right? Cardi B made it famous with the so if you need some practice, you can do that. But yeah, I just went out of my way to be able to be accepted in society, and that is a problem that we have here in America. And I guess that it's all the supremacy culture period. It doesn't just happen here in America; it happens in other countries. In Dominican Republic, colorism is a huge thing, and so even if we're all under the same pool, we're trying to put each other down by focusing on one irrelevant factor to divert from the actual conversation that we need to have.
Right.
And as a father of a 4-year-old, mixed girl as well, it's very crucial for me to be able to start educating other people about that. And, eventually she's Colombian and Dominican, so I know that she's going to be really good looking. So at the same time, I also need to be the man that I would want her to bring home one day. So I want her to bring, a conscious, educated, eloquent, someone that is empathetic back to the home and take care of her, but I have to be that person myself first because she's looking up to me. So that has been some of the things that I've personally been struggling with over the last couple of days.
So real quick before we end, I just want to know, because each one there's different nationalities up here, and this everything that's going on has affected everybody differently. So I just wanted to get you guys just tell us a little bit how this has affected your psychology, because every day I have to work on my mental.
That's right.
Okay?
That's true.
And so I just wanted you guys to touch on that a little bit. What are you doing to work on your mental,
That's a great question. I'm trying to lead by example, honestly. Picking back off of the last conversation that we had here at Off the Bench Global. Exactly, talk it and walk it to that extent, Be in this conversation, be in this settings, talk to Candace, talk to white people, talk to white Republicans, talk to my Latino friends, talk to everybody that I'm aware of, and try to learn, educate, and at the same time, sometimes cut them off. Okay. Whatever needs to be done.
What about you, Candace? What's going on?
I create art. To be honest with you, I've always felt prideful in being black, and it's something that I don't apologize for.
That's right.
However, when it comes to watching the news and watching my people die, it's something where it feels like somebody's trying to spiritually break me, and so it's I take my frustrations out in art. I kind of look for the futuristic type of aspect in terms of being able to, what would the country look like if we were finally free, if we were finally ourselves. But also, self-care, taking breaks.
Got you. So listen, we are WDRB Media, Off the Bench Global. We will be back, and we definitely want to come back with Jorge. Jorge is going to drop some information on us, I know, but you guys stay tuned.